G'day and welcome back to another video. So it's been some time since I've done a video on the FJ, and I thought today is as good as time as any because I've now had it for 3 years and I've covered 100,000 kilometres in that time. So I thought I'd give you all a bit of a look at what I've liked and maybe some things I haven't liked. Alright, so I thought I'd come back and film at this location here because this is the exact spot where I filmed that very first video 3 years ago about when I got the FJ. And in that video, if you want to hit the link up here, I'll be able to show you in past time what the FJ had when I bought it, and it had nothing, and maybe the reasons why I bought it. So in that time, like I mentioned, it's done 100,000 kilometres. So as it sits here today, it's done 236,000, and I've done so many trips in it in that time, which is plenty of videos across my channel with that. So in that, I've done sand driving, high country driving, big touring trips, South Australia a few times, up to Queensland, New South Wales, whether it be solo, family and friends. So I've definitely utilised a lot. Oh, and snow driving as well. So I'll give you a little walk around of some of the things that I like and some of the things, you know, that aren't so favourable with the FJ if you're looking at buying one for yourself. Righto, so when I purchased the FJ, like I said, it had barely anything on it. All it had was a trans cooler and a red arc tow controller, and that was never even used. And I'll just stop for a sec because the motorbike's coming. Alright, so the FJ is not the first four-wheel drive I've had. I've had a few in the past, but I sort of knew what I was looking for when I was looking at buying a new four-wheel drive, and definitely after the amount of time I've had it, I've got some things I like and things I don't like. So what I might do is give you a few things that I'm not necessarily a fan of, and then once I've done that, I'll give you a walk around of what I've done to it as well. So something that is a little bit annoying, I'm sure it's not just this car, but over time that driver's seat lowers its position down because these doors are quite high, and it feels like you're driving sitting in a cardboard box and you can just see from your shoulders out, or a fish tank if you're sitting in a fish tank and you just got the glass around you. But that seat over time just slowly goes down. So family, or you got young kids, something to keep in mind, the room in the back isn't super great, so probably more of a two-person tourer. You can make it work, but not a lot of room. I know when I've had people in the back, you actually can't do anything about those windows. And the way it gets described to me by my daughters when they're in the back feels like they're sitting in an aeroplane. So it's quite limiting. And also having the big driver's door, if you're in a car park and passenger door and you've got to open the doors are quite big. So if you've got to open that back door and then open the front door, it can be a pretty tight fit. So I just mentioned about the limited sort of room in the back for passengers. That also includes in the back here for storage, so for your camping touring setup. So if you want to set up in the back, you've got to be a little bit creative. So all I've done in here is just set up for me driving around at the moment. I've got a table spot down the bottom, my fire pit slides in the middle, and the stove at the top. So those three heavy items are all fully secured, and I can get them first thing out or last thing in. On top is where I sit my soft bags. So when I first had the setup, I just had the couple of tubs and the false floor at the bottom, and then over time I just sort of worked out what I wanted to do, and I reckon that only cost me a couple $100, and it doesn't weigh a lot, so that's a big plus. So yeah, just got to be a bit creative. So it's not really a negative or anything, just thinking outside the box, so to speak. Alright, just while I'm filming this video, I've got my nephews here with me this morning, and they just asked, we're just talking about the FJ, and Nash just asked me, do I like the look of it? And the answer to that is, yes I do. Main reason being it's quite a unique look, and that stands out. And whenever you see another FJ on the road, it's like Jeeps and 79s or whatever, you always give that bit of a wave. So yes, Nash, I do like the look of it. Righto, so let's run through a few things that I like about the FJ. And I've got to say, one of the first things I like is the availability for aftermarket parts. So unlike a brand new car where sometimes you might have to wait, these have been around since 2007 in the States, and I think the first one in Australia was around that 2011 time. And one thing I didn't add, this is a December 2012 build, so it doesn't have the long range tank and it doesn't have the crawl control mode or anything like that. So I've still got the standard tank inside the fitted to the FJ. So aftermarket parts, if I want to do a long range tank load, it's quite easy because there is a big space under the back of it where you can just get an aftermarket tank fitted in there, and there's a range of options for that as well. So since I've had it, I've built up pretty quickly because I knew what I wanted after having pretty much the same setup on my old Nissan Patrol. So I went the bull bar, the roof rack, and the driving lights. The winch come off my old Patrol, and I've used it a few times on here, and being a light car, it's a Runver 11 XP, it works really well with this whole package here. And I also went for the Safari snorkel. So there's a lot of different options for bull bars. A lot of different companies do them, but the reason I stuck with this one, because I like the look of it, and I like the idea of having the hoops on top as well, especially in the trip I just did down the Otways. It was good protection for the front because I was going down super tight tracks, so I did protect that front end quite a bit. So let's talk about fuel economy for a second. So when I got it, I was doing pretty close to 10 litres per 100 consistently, which I thought was awesome. That was just on your basic, let's call them all-terrains, with no wind or weight or additional wind hindrances. So the best I've been getting, the other week I did a trip fully loaded, I was about 12.5 litres per 100, and that was with the swag in the back seat, not on the roof. And just normal day-to-day running, I get around 12s, 11.9 only a couple of tanks ago, because I knew I was doing this video, so I thought I'd actually have a look what I was doing. So I was pretty happy with that. Towing, so I have a camper trailer with a rooftop tent fitted to it. It's quite a light setup. And from home in Victoria, driving all the way across to South Australia, pretty much the whole way across the state and into South Australia, I was using about 14.5 litres per 100. So with the 4 litre 6-cylinder motor and the 5-speed, I thought that was pretty good. And I was just sitting on that 90 to 100 sort of range on the way over. So yeah, economy wise, it's pretty good. Let's talk seating positions just quickly. When I first got it, it was quite unusual, the seating position in it, because like I mentioned earlier, you feel like you're sitting quite low. But the seats themselves are super comfortable, and you know, I've knocked out some big days in this car driving it, and not once have I got out and felt any back pain or uncomfortable driving position. It does have cruise control as well, which I actually don't use, but if you need to use it, it's there. But yeah, the seating position, once I got, you know, that perfect spot, it was pretty good. So yeah. All right, off-road capabilities. Now, if you first have a glance at it, you might think, oh yeah, it'll be alright off-road, it's not too bad. But I'll tell you what, I am super impressed with this FJ, with its coil rear, independent front, factory rear locker, and the fancy A-track at the front, which if one wheel's slipping, you have to engage it. One wheel slipping, you just engage it and it'll grabs traction and continually pulls you forward. One last thing I will mention about the FJ, which some people ask a question about it. Why is the awning on the driver's side? Simple reason. I've got the 270 awning on there that I bought second hand off a good mate of mine racing, and the door actually opens out this way, so it's left hand hinged, so when the awning's open it covers the back rather than having to walk around the door. And it just so happened he was changing his setup and I scored a driver's side mounted 270 awning. Alright, so if you're watching this and you have an FJ or you're thinking about getting an FJ, firstly, if you have one, what colour is your FJ? Or what is your favourite colour FJ? Or if you're thinking about getting one, comment down below and I'll see whether I can help you out. If not, one of my FJ followers will perhaps be able to, answer the question for you. But there it is, 3 years, 100,000 kilometres, and that time's flown from when I was standing in this very spot 3 years ago, filming a video about the FJ. Alright, so thanks so much for watching. Thanks for coming out, boys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks, Sam. Alright, everyone, we will see you next time. Cheers.